Thank you, and welcome friends to the fourth episode of Hobson's Choice. I'm Michael G. Hobson, and in this episode, the G stands for gridiron. No, this isn't a story about football, though the NFL certainly plays a major part. This is the story of Colin Kaepernick's imbalanced attempts at being active in civil rights, his dismissal from the team, and his inevitable rejection from the league. There are many athletes before him who chose principle over position. I highlight Curt Flood, who challenged the reserve clause in baseball, a clause that essentially allowed owners to pay and to treat players like indentured servants. A challenge that eventually led to free agency, and a challenge that ended Flood's career. But this is not the Curt Flood story. That is for another day. This is about Kaepernick, who, by taking a moral stand, or kneel in his case, effectively stalled what seemed on target to be among the great careers of NFL history. First, some background into the player. As the second round of the 2011 draft began, a trade was made. The San Francisco 49ers traded 3 picks to the Denver Broncos in order to move up 9 spots. They wanted Kaepernick. The 49ers, a highly regarded franchise with a successful history, had a starting quarterback. But in the 6 years since drafting Alex Smith instead of Aaron Rodgers, the team had never taken off. The 49ers believed Smith was a solid NFL quarterback, but lacked a supreme skill needed to take a team to the Super Bowl. Now for a little history, the 49ers compare quarterbacks to Joe Montana and Steve Young, who between them won 5 Super Bowls. Smith was not of their ilk, but Kaepernick could be. They loved Kaepernick's athleticism and rocket arm. The team kept both quarterbacks the first year, but midway through his second season, Smith suffered a concussion, which turned into Smith's Wally Pipp moment. Wally Pipp was a New York Yankee first baseman who missed a game and watched his replacement, Lou Gehrig, not miss a game for 15 years. Kaepernick's brilliant running and precision passing led the team to the Super Bowl, a loss to Baltimore. In the offseason, the 49ers traded Smith and handed him the job. Kaepernick relished the opportunity and took the 49ers into the championship, a loss to Seattle. 49ers saw Kaepernick as their future and signed their new superstar to a 6-year, $126 million deal. Nice money, but in the NFL, contracts are not fully guaranteed. The team only guaranteed 10%. Whether it was the pressure of trying to live up to the contract or, as many experts believe, the league just caught up to him, Kaepernick did not have a good season. Midway through the following season, Kaepernick was replaced as starting quarterback. While his football career waned, his social conscience grew. With his contract having been reduced to a 1-year deal, Kaepernick knew the team was looking in another direction, but could not have imagined that the league, run like a criminal cartel with old money, would view his actions as unpatriotic stunts and would want nothing to do with it. If a player throws his girlfriend onto a bed with guns, that's a suspension. If a player knocks his wife out with a punch in a hotel room elevator and it's caught on video, that's a suspension. But show disrespect to the flag, to the national anthem, well, there's no hope for that player. It began when Kaepernick sat through the national anthem in a 2016 preseason game. Kaepernick was affected by the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner at the hands of police. But it was the deaths of 2 more black men, Terrence Crutcher, shot in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Keith Lamont Scott, shot in Charlotte, North Carolina, earlier in the year, that finally drove Kaepernick to action. I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color, he said, explaining his action. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street, and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. Kaepernick, though, switched his protest from sitting to kneeling, saying he didn't want to show disrespect to current and former military personnel. After the September 2016 shootings of Crutcher and Scott, Kaepernick said, "This is a perfect example of what this is about." Incidentally, the police officer who shot Crutcher, a white female, was charged but not convicted, and the officer who shot Scott, a male African American, was never charged. It was called a good shooting. The fight between police officers in the U.S. and the citizens is the issue. It is not purely a black and white issue, though skin color seems to be a divining reason for many. This is about power and the abuse of authority. One person should not have the right to take another person's life simply by holding a gun and a badge. Hardcore nationalists see everything that is right with the flag and the anthem and that nothing is wrong. They don't see the suffering of people. They only see the inspiration and the glory of America. In that category of hardcore nationalists are owners of the national game. Videos were posted of people burning his jersey. Where's Rick Monday when you need him? Monday was the Los Angeles Dodger who swooped in from center field to grab the flag from the hands of a protester who had run onto the baseball field and was attempting to burn the flag. Monday is still considered an American hero for that moment. They say Kaepernick hates the U.S. I say he loves the U.S. He's just fed up with inequality and injustice. But Colin Kaepernick made a serious mistake. In the 2016 U.S. presidential election, he chose not to vote. All the talk, all the action, all the criticism, and you don't vote. That's how we in the civilized part of the world overthrow our governments. We do it peacefully, through elections. It's the old saying, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. I may not totally agree with that sentiment, but for a man to take a moral stand, fed up and frustrated with the system of justice, and to not vote, makes his words ring hollow. I can forgive him for the mistake. He certainly wasn't alone. Just enough people didn't vote to hand the presidency to the Mad Hatter. Now, the moral of the story is not about the protests. They should and will continue. No, this story is for any adult who lives in a democratic nation and who is thinking of not voting in an election. Imagine the Mad Hatter running your country. Till next time, my friends, be well.